Hello everyone, it's Melinda here with CatSmashPuzzles, and today we're doing the second video on the 2026 US Nationals, where we will go over the side competitions that took place adjacent to the main competition. So the main competition was comprised of solo, pairs, and teams. So those will be coming up in the next 3 videos. What we're going to discuss today are the multiple different types of side events that were occurring, and I think all of them were sponsored by Cobble Hill. So all the puzzles that were taken for these events were Cobble Hill Puzzles. And I'll go over a few here that I did not participate in, and then I'll go over the one that I did in a bit more detail. So the first technically competition I sort of competed in a little bit was the sprint. And it was basically just 275-piece puzzles from Cobble Hill on the tables downstairs in the convention hall, and you basically just did the puzzle as fast as you could and submit your results. There was no footage you needed to do, there was nothing you really had to do officially, you just submit your time. So it was basically an honor system. And there was one puzzle I did do, but I didn't do any other ones. There was about 5 or 6 different 235-piece puzzles that you could do. And the one I did do was the summer chorus, and I did it in 28 minutes and 17 seconds. Which wasn't bad. However, I kind of tried to look for the results, and I couldn't find them. And I remember at least looking at them at the convention, and I was in first place for that particular puzzle. But I don't know where it landed. I don't know how many people participated in it, so I can't really give you a good answer in regards to how I did. I mean, I did it under 30 minutes, which is good, but for a 270-piece puzzle, I should have been a little faster than that, but it was rather difficult. There was a lot of wood to it. It was just not the easiest puzzle in the world. And then Christina did the one next to me, which was like the quilt one I showed you in the last video that I picked up from Cobble Hill, but she decided to just kind of casually do it. She started as a sprint, and then she just kind of stopped. We had so much puzzles going on, and I wanted to do more sprints, and I just didn't end up doing any. So that was one I sort of participated in and then just sort of gave up at the end of it. That was available at any point during the during Nationals, so you could do that in between your competitions and all. So that was pretty much basically when the convention hall was opened. Now, there were other events going on during the main competition. So on Friday, the 27th, the big competition was puzzle chess, which I kind of have all my chess style puzzles here a little bit for you. So I'll go over that in a minute. Let me kind of skip ahead to the competitions I did not participate in. So the next event was called Cobble Together. And if I find footage, I'll include it in the video here somehow. But I don't have any footage or pictures, I guess. I might find some pictures on it. But basically, from what I understood, is that you were a team of 4, but you were divided into pairs. So your team was split into 2. And each of you had a 500-piece puzzle. However, you each had each other's poster. So it was kind of like an unboxed version of Team Relay, I guess you can say. You just basically had to communicate to each other back and forth, and you were on separate tables. So, like, your pair was with a pair for another team, basically. So you weren't next to each other. You couldn't see each other's poster or anything. You had to communicate back and forth from across the tables to say, hey, what am I looking at? What is this image? And so it was kind of a test of skill regarding communication with teams. And I thought that was kind of an interesting twist. And I know I plan to do kind of an unbox challenge, more to the fact of practicing for the World Series, which I'm not going to, or went to at this point. But I do want to maybe start practicing it a little bit so that when I do end up going to the World Series, it's not completely unknown to me. But yeah, it's the Cobble Together was kind of a team relay / unbox challenge, but with communication. You weren't completely blind, but you gotta have to rely on your team members to describe the image to you. So that was kind of interesting. I don't know the results of it. I don't know who all participated in it. It was mostly, I think, for people who did not make it to the finals. And I think that was pretty good on them to do because, the last day on Sunday was finals, and if you didn't make it to any of the 3 finals, you didn't really have any puzzles to do. So these side competitions were kind of nice to have, basically. It was on Saturday and Sunday cobbled together but the way that the schedule was done with my pairs and teams prelim, I couldn't quite land on any of the times to go. And all these side competitions were free of charge if you were participating in the main event in some way. So that was kind of nice. And then the second type of side event that Cobble Hill did was the team relay. And I've explained it to you a little bit before, but basically you're also again separated into pairs, but you're doing 2 puzzles at the same time. So one pair is doing one 500-piece puzzle, the other pair is doing the other 500. But this time you can see the box. There's no unboxed issue with that. And then every 5 or 10 minutes you switch. And I don't know exactly how they did it in that event, but they switched and you kind of had to do a different puzzle. I don't know if they moved one person at a time or they moved the pair to the next puzzle, but I suspect they probably moved one person at a time just so that, it wasn't the same 2 people, working together, basically. You kind of had to switch your pair partner in order to get the puzzle completed. And again, I don't know the results of that. I haven't posted them anywhere as far as I can tell. So again, another event that was happening Saturday that I couldn't quite get my schedule to work out. And then Sunday they also did it as well, which I was in the finals and therefore couldn't participate. I believe Shay and Clarissa participated in the team relay, but I don't know how they did. So that was another event that they did, and it was, I would have loved it in the team relay. That would have been probably the other one besides Puzzle Chess that I would have really had a lot of fun with. But again, it just didn't work out. And then the third and final type of side event that they had was the Gauntlet, which when I saw it, I was like, I have no idea what this is, and I had absolutely no clue what type of puzzle they'll be doing. Was it like a big puzzle that like 10 people were working on, or, I thought it would be kind of something different and cool. It was different, but it was basically a team pyramid. So I've done a solo pyramid, I've done a pair pyramid, but they basically did a team pyramid where they started with a 275-piece puzzle, moved on to the 350, and then moved on to the 500. And from what I understand, they actually kind of did them back to back to back. They didn't just do the 275, time everybody and stop, and then they restarted for the 350 and moved on to the 500 the same way, or they just, the team finishes the 275 and they immediately open 350. And again, I don't know how their time worked, basically. They combined all 3 puzzles together and that was your final time? Did each puzzle have a winner, basically? I don't know. I kind of wish I knew. I wish there was some information on the side events. I really did try to find some results and bit more information on it, but I just did not get anything, sadly. Probably should have talked to Shay a little bit and maybe got her insights on some of the side competitions she participated in, but I just didn't get a chance to. So it was basically a team pyramid, which is kind of cool. I mean, I like the pyramid format, absolutely. The solo one is one of my favorites, and I'm pretty good at it. Pair pyramid, me and Christina, I think, will be pretty good at as well. And then, so yeah, a team pyramid is great. I think it's a great format. Probably would be a bit of a bigger type puzzle, like 300, 500, and 1,000, or maybe a 750 would be kind of an interesting change of pace. But yep, that was the Gauntlet, and sadly that was going on during the team final, I believe. So again, I could not participate. So those were the side competitions I sort of semi-participated in, and then the ones I did not. And I hope that made sense to you all. I really wish I had more information than I got, but it is what it is, and I think it was a great event. Everybody seemed to enjoy those Cobble events, and I hope they do more in the future. They do an event called Tournament of Pieces, or Origins is what it's called as far as I understand, and I believe it's going on in June. And again, unfortunately, I will not be able to go, but I do look forward to doing that one time in the future, and maybe I'll participate in these types of events. That way I won't have national finals interfering with them. That'll be, I have probably like a list of 7 or 8 events now I want to go to, just haven't had a chance to go. So, let's move on to Puzzle Chess. So my goal in Puzzle Chess was to win. I made the outlandish goal of trying to win this event. Did I win? Maybe I should roll the footage and let you guys see if I won or not. Real quick, before I get into that, the competition space was a bit hard to set my camera up with the stand because one side of the table moves and the other side did not. I landed on the side that did not, so I could have set the camera up, but it was such a fast, quick event per round that it would seem a little bit hard for me to just keep my camera there. So I have Christina is holding the camera and she's taking recordings of me. She basically decided to do a bit of commentary. Now, it's hard to hear her on some of it, so I don't know if I'll keep most of the commentary because it's really just, you can't really hear her because there's a lot of talking in the room and it's very loud. But I'll keep some if I can hear her and it's kind of funny, and I think that will be a great input. So I had someone help me get some footage, which I fully appreciate. Thank you, Christina. So she recorded all 4 rounds. So I'll go ahead and roll those real quick for y'all, and then I will discuss the results at the end of it, and maybe my future plans of how to practice for puzzle chess. Alrighty, let's smash them.
There is puzzle bestie Melinda getting ready for her first round of puzzle chess. This is a commentary you did not ask for, but you're getting anyways. Look how cute she is. She's already probably memorizing this thing. Focus.
3, 2, 1, puzzle!
She's into hands. Cheater. Come on, go. Look at that stuff up there doing the dang thing. Interference.
Go in 3, 2, 1, puzzle!
So this is round 2 of the round robin. Melinda versus Grayson. This is like the lightning round already. Maybe Melinda with the advantage. round. Boo. Not letting me judge. I couldn't give her enough pep talks.
Get ready to pick, place, and tap in 3, 2, 1, puzzle.
This is round 4 of the round robin, Melinda versus Lister. You got it, you got it, you got it. Come on, Lister. There you go. Thumbs up. We don't even need a thumbs up. We know she just okay, bye.
Hey everyone, it's Melinda here with CatSmashPuzzles, and live update from the first day here at Nationals, and I just finished my puzzle chess qualifying round, and unfortunately I did not get into finals. I won 3 out of my 4 rounds, and because of that I did not get in. The top 32 won all 4 of their rounds. You know, I just sort of got stuck on one of the puzzles twice, and that unfortunately chipped at my time, and basically I lost on that one, so didn't quite succeed with this, but we are cheering on Shay right now because she's in the semi-qualifying, hopefully to get to the finals. Well, I did not win puzzle chess. In fact, I fell very much off the radar because I didn't even get into semi-qualifying. Let's talk about it. So the initial round of puzzle chess was basically, it was 2 groups. There was one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So puzzle chess took place on Friday the 27th during the solo preliminary rounds A through D. And I was in preliminary round A, so I couldn't join the morning puzzle chess round, so I joined in the afternoon one. And I think there was upwards of 150 or 200 people in that room, in that group that I was in. And so what happened was you were doing kind of a round robin, and you basically had 4 people you were going to compete against. And one side of the table did not move, the other side moved to their right. And so I was on side A, and so I stayed put, and then the other person was in side B, and they moved. And so total of 4 rounds happened. My first round was against a lady who didn't want to really be filmed, so the video was from the back, so it's facing me, so I'll just keep her anonymous. And we did the Alice in Wonderland puzzle chess. And I'll explain real quickly how puzzle chess works. So you usually have a 100-piece puzzle here, and you pull the box out, you open it up, and you both together put the border. So no other pieces but the border pieces. It's not timed, you just put the border together. And then once the border is done, you wait to be told to start. And then the way they did it on how to start puzzle chess, I don't think is the best way, my opinion. But the person who puts the first piece in the fastest gets it. It seems kind of iffy. I don't know. You could end up hitting each other's hands, or each of you could grab a piece and put it at the same time. I don't know. There's got to be a different way to start. And maybe my suggestion is rock, paper, scissors, and the person who wins starts. That would just be my thought. But they also kind of had us sitting there for too long on a few rounds. And so what happened was we were all looking at the pieces and we were just memorizing where some of these pieces go. And on a one round, especially for me, I knew exactly where a lot of these pieces went. And so I think that was an advantage that, I mean, we were all kind of doing it, so we all kind of had the same advantage. But if some of us have better memory than others, you know, I think that they initially had there was a cover over the pieces, and unfortunately Cobble Hill pieces are so big, they kind of just disregarded the cover. So I think there might be a different way that they could start puzzle chess. You know, it's again a work in progress. It's kind of one of those things you kind of have to figure out as you go. But I think puzzle chess just needs a little bit more, you know, once the border's put, I think the people should just start their round. You shouldn't be sitting there for 2 minutes memorizing the pieces. It kind of negates the point. So, enough about that. Alice in Wonderland was the first puzzle I did. And 100-piece puzzle, Cobble Hill. And as you can see, I've done them by myself a few times. And I think I've gotten this one under 5 minutes now, at least once. And me and the first round lady just, you know, went, and I actually screwed up at least once. I got stuck. My brain just fritzed out, and I was like, oh no, and I finally grabbed the piece and put it in. But she also had the same issue, and she did it about 2 or 3 times. And so I did win my first round. So I was very happy about that. And I got to keep the first puzzle. So you had 4 rounds. So every other round, I would keep the puzzle. My opponent would keep their puzzle on every other round as well. So you would walk away with 2 puzzles, basically. So that was kind of nice. So first round done. Second round, I got sat across from Grayson, which, woo! If you don't know who Grayson is, they did very well in the competition, and they are considered one of the fastest puzzlers, and you'll see why in a second. But actually, our 100-piece puzzle was Mercats. And poor Grayson, I kind of said, hey, I've done this rather recently with Puzzle Club, and I did it in 26 minutes. So, I guess having an advantage against Grayson was something that was very nice of me to have. So yeah, the problem was that was actually the round that me and Grayson were just staring at the pieces, and it was about 2 minutes before after we'd finished the border, and we just memorized where all the pieces went. But unfortunately, Grayson got stuck a few times. So yeah, that was round 2. Very happy that I'm now 2 for 2. And then we go to round 3. And then we have Rabbit Garden here. And Rabbit Garden got me, unfortunately. Now, my opponent was named Jeremy, and he is actually one of the founders of Winter Carnival, or at least he helps run it. And so he talked about it a little bit, and it was very interesting to hear from his side, because I actually want to go to Winter Carnival. It's one of the kind of the OG competitions, I believe, and it's run by Puzzle Twist. And I've actually been texting Christina today, and she is thinking about going and being paired up with Boy Wonder from Houston, so that'll be interesting. I don't think I plan to go next year. They have actually announced the dates, and I think it's in February of 27, but I don't plan on going because I think there's 2 big trips I plan to do next year. It is on my list, and I will go eventually. But Jeremy was very nice and gracious, and I'm all over here competitive, hyper-focused, and, puzzle chess for me. And he's just casually just talking about, introducing himself and asking questions about me. And, I'm like, the crazy person over here, and he's the calm and collective one. So I really did appreciate his down-to-earth. He was there for fun. And I think that was what made him win. He was relaxed and calm throughout this entire puzzle while I was frazzled and everywhere. And I just froze about three times. And I think with puzzle chess, and this is what I've really learned, is that if you freeze more than twice and your opponent does not, you lose. Doesn't matter how fast you are with puzzles. If you just can't figure out to find a piece immediately twice, you lose. And remember, for puzzle chess, you have to put a piece in that connects to the border or another piece. You can't just put a piece in the middle of the puzzle. And so that's when you have to actually try to find a piece that connects. You can't just put a piece in a random spot, basically. And so this puzzle, it still causes me some grief. I haven't got this one under 5 minutes yet. And so it's just, there's a lot of green and brown everywhere, and it's just hard to figure out where some of these plants go, basically. But yeah, because I got stuck a couple times, Jeremy took advantage, and he won that round against me. So now I am 2 for 1 on that. And so, good job to you, Jeremy. You took advantage of my screw-ups there. And now I'm like, uh-oh, is that loss going to cost me a spot in the semifinals? And then they made the announcement that there's people that are 3-0, and I'm like, oh dear, I might actually have a hard time getting into the semi-qualifying. So the fourth and final round, I don't have the puzzle with me, was Yum Yum, and it was basically kind of a colored grid of cupcakes or desserts. And my opponent was Jose, and he is better known as Puzzle Fit Zone, and he's on TikTok and Instagram. So I think he's an athletic trainer who enjoys puzzles. And so we got to talk, and I'm like, oh, I kind of recognize your social media account. And so we talked a little bit, and we enjoyed our fourth round with each other. And I think that it was a fun puzzle, and he got to keep that one. And I did win, but I think I was just trying to recover from my loss on the last round, and it was a lot of fun, but I did learn a lot with puzzle chess. Puzzle chess, what I've been doing it a few times, I think if a harder puzzle is presented to me, it doesn't quite go my way, I guess you can say. So my final results, I did 3 and 4 at my qualifying round, and unfortunately that got me, I think, 42nd place, and you had to be in the top 36 in order to move on to the semi-qualifying, which I think that the top 36 basically won all 4 rounds. If they had not, it would have gone by time. So you did write your time down, and whatever time was left was added up. And so I think my times were relatively high, even though I had the 1 loss. But unfortunately, I had to have won all 4 in order to advance. So my goal of trying to win puzzle chess was unfortunately a failure. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really wanted that plushie. I have plushies of chess pieces, and I wanted to add that black chess piece with a puzzle piece on the top to my collection, but alas, I did not. However, Shay did get to the semi-qualifying rounds, and she got almost all the way to the finals. She and Kyle were battling it out with this horrendous American flag puzzle, which I will show you right here, made of fireworks. No, I'm kind of glad I didn't get to that point, because I would have hated that puzzle to the moon. And poor Shay struggled with it. I think her time ran out, I believe, at the end, or they finished the puzzle, I think. But Kyle was having a hard time with it a little bit. Once they got the blue section done, it was very difficult. And then the finals for puzzle chess was later in the evening, and I did not go and watch it. I should have, but I did not. I think we went to dinner, and that's what happened there. I was kind of tired, and, after my prelim round in the morning, I just got through all the convention and everything. And then the final was between Kyle and Emily. And Emily reigned supreme in puzzle chess. Their last puzzle was actually a 275-piece puzzle, so that was very interesting. That would have been a bit of a difficult challenge for puzzle chess, because again, you had to make sure your piece connects to the border. So I kind of wish I had at least gone and watched it. Puzzle chess is honestly a little bit about luck. I'll give it that. It's not just about speed and your ability to handle puzzles. Your brain cannot fritz out more than twice, and it can't fritz out more than your opponent's, because you will lose, no matter how fast you are. So that concludes the side competitions from Nationals. I wish I had participated more. I would have loved to have done the team relay, probably even the gauntlet, just to experience it. Cobbled together, it might have been okay not to have gone to, but it still would have been fun. But I think I had done so much puzzles by then. Me, Christina, Shay, and Megan were practicing for our teams, because technically we hadn't teamed up together as the 4 of us, and so we had to make sure we got some practice in before our prelim rounds. And me and Christina did some practice for pairs, and so we were doing a lot of things in between that we couldn't quite fit in these competitions. But I'm glad that they are available, especially for people who do not go to the finals. I think it's a great thing for people to still participate in, and it's especially free of charge. It makes it much more of a pleasant experience, and you get to walk away with puzzles. That's the best thing, right? I do like how some brands adapt to speed puzzling and kind of experiment with different types of puzzles and piece counts. It's quite nice. So, as for Puzzle Chess and winning it and taking the gold, we did not smash it today. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you on the third national video going over the pairs rounds. Bye-bye.